Hey folks, Mr. Pash here, and I'm going to go over our second step to the critique process, and that's analyzing. In week one, we did just merely the description. That's the first part. Some of you guys actually went into analyzing. I actually do it a little bit myself too. It's kind of hard not to when you're in that description phase. So there's a little gray area into that critique step there too. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to kind of describe what we need to do, and I wrote it down here on the page for you guys to follow. And just like our first assignment, we're going to do it on a Google Doc. Please make a copy first because I'm going to allow you guys to have access to it. So please make a copy and then input your answers. And then you guys can either share the document with me, or if you can, submit it to Canvas. I noticed a lot of people are able to do that, and it's just easier for me to grade. So if you can figure that out, awesome. Okay, so what we have here, this is going to look like our week one page, and I did that on purpose so we can kind of see the evolution here. And we're just using Van Gogh Starry Night. Not particularly my favorite painting, but I just kind of chose it because I thought you guys would be aware of it, and I've seen it quite often before. And so I left my descriptive example in here for you guys to follow, but I also added an analysis example, and it's just a part. I'm just kind of like flowing from what I see in there. I could probably analyze a lot more, but this is pretty much what you guys need to write. I'm just looking for 1 to 2 paragraphs for each section. The Google Doc is down here that you guys have access to, and we are doing 2 steps. We're still doing the descriptive step and then moving on to analysis. So this should be kind of a little bit different when you get in there. I chose these 2 examples, Van Gogh again, and Edward Monet. I'll give you guys the option to choose a piece that you guys want to do on your own. I just put these in here just, I don't know, just maybe make it a little bit easier for you guys just to kind of use something. And I also like to see, as a teacher, how you guys are seeing different things and describing them differently. It just kind of gives me more information for how you guys are doing. So choose either one of these to describe. It's your choice, or of course use your own. Okay. So in the descriptive phase, we're really just describing what's there. What do we see? Okay. It's a little bit more than, well, it's simple stuff like it's a painting. We want to say that. We want to say who painted it, what's the title, what's the year. Okay. Sometimes we won't be able to tell what types of paints, but sometimes that's important. We want to say there's color, but not just color. We want to say what kinds of colors are there. Okay, so for Vincent van Gogh, we got blues, yellows, and browns. Okay, and now that we know a little bit more color with description, we can put like shades of blue, tints of yellow, saturated hues of orange, neutrals of brown. So we can get a little bit more descriptive now that we kind of have that vocabulary a little bit. And also, if you guys see a particular color scheme at this point, please put that in there, like what type of color scheme to use, because Vincent van Gogh, if you look at his paintings, he actually uses a lot of orange and blues. Sometimes they're turquoises and oranges, but a lot of complementary color schemes he uses here, which we see here. In the description, we'll kind of move on to the analyzation of it. So the description, we're mostly focusing right here on our elements. Okay, those are the basic components that we make the artwork with. When we get to analysis, we're trying to figure out what decisions the artist made. made. So for example, with Vincent van Gogh, we have a landscape, which we put in our description, but how did he paint that landscape? Like, okay, is it realistic? Is it abstract? If it's abstractish, how is it abstract? What does he do with the paintbrush to kind of give it that feeling, you know? So the main question is, you know, put yourself in the artist's shoes, and why did he make those decisions, or what decisions did he make? Okay, why did he choose to do some things and not choose to do others? Okay, kind of look at it from that perspective. Um, so yeah, we want to focus on more of the principles of design here. Okay, how is it balanced? What is contrasted? Okay, what is emphasized? How is it emphasized? What makes it emphasized? What makes parts of the painting contrasted? Movement, is there, you know, does your eye move a certain way, and why does it do that? Okay. Pattern, you might get some pattern in there. Rhythm's a little hard to understand, and unity is just kind of like what makes the painting cohesive. But these four top ones you can concentrate on here. Okay, so what I said for analysis on Vincent van Gogh, I have it down here. See if I can kind of restate it for you guys. So I'm looking for what the artist is drawing our attention to, what he does emphasize. And what I see is the big crescent moon in the top right. Okay, and why are my eyes drawn to that? Well, it's a very vivid tint of white and a very saturated yellow-orange, contrasted with the majority of the painting that is mostly darker shades of blue. Okay, so there's not a lot of other yellow other than the little dots of the stars. I'm also drawn to a very heavy star right here, which has a lot of white. It's really bright. It's not as big as the moon, so it's kind of like a secondary emphasis. But still, it contrasts with the rest of the kind of darker image of the picture. I'm also seeing this big swirl of curved dashed lines. Takes up kind of the center. Our eyes are mostly drawn to the center, but it's quite large compared to the other swirls that we might see in the rest of the painting, and there's quite a lot of curves there, but really big, white and mixed with kind of dark blues in there. And yeah, I would say what the artist is really drawing our attention to, now that I see like number 1, 2, and 3, is the sky. And now that I know the name, Starry Night, I mean, that's what he was really trying to present to us, right? We have this town down here, but it's quite small. It's got some, you know, little yellow window lights, but our attention is not there. Could the artist have done it that way and drawn our attention to the town? Yes. He could have drawn that a lot bigger and made the sky a little bit smaller, but he didn't. He directed our attention to the sky. Okay. So that's just part of the analysis. Now the third part of this critique process is interpretation. Okay, so then we take the analysis, and we're not doing this yet. I'm just telling you, we're trying to interpret, like, why did the artist do that? What was his intention? What was his meaning behind that? So we'll kind of get to that. That kind of gets into more opinion, but we're using everything we're stating before to help us get to that meaning. Okay, that's the purpose of this 4-step process. And when we get there in the last part, which we'll do, is the evaluation. That's very opinionative. What's your judgment, depending on all the steps in between? Was it successful or not? Not getting there yet. Okay, so feel free to, you guys don't have to really write a fluid paragraph. When you guys are looking at art, things just kind of start popping up. It's okay if you guys can kind of bullet point these things. I'm totally cool with that. Just kind of take the time, look at it again, and really see where your eyes are moving and why they're going to those areas. And then also kind of describe, give it a little bit more wordy description of like how the lines are used. You know, it's especially in Van Gogh's Starry Night here. It's like we get these really swirling lines, and it creates a lot of movement and energy. Why does it do that? I would say probably because the thick, heavy dash strokes that we see. It's not really like soft gradients and very subtle. Has a lot of energy and contrast between those lines, and they're curved. So my eyes kind of got the swerve type patterns, but everything is painted curved lines, so it kind of creates a really good sense of movement there. So in order to kind of describe that, you do need to kind of step back a little bit and go, yeah, okay, there are curves, all right? And these things start to pop up as you start to look at it a little bit more and start to write. And sometimes you need to kind of rewrite some stuff and really interpret what's laid out, or analyze what's really laid out in front of you. So yeah, so not a lot, just 1 to 2 paragraphs for each section. We're going to do descriptive section again, and also an analysis for this one. And you know, bullet point if you want. Write about what you see. For the analysis part, put yourself in the artist's shoes and ask yourself why he made those decisions, and look for the relationships of, you know, how he mixed all these elements together. And hopefully you guys will do well. You guys have done really well in all the past assignments, so I think you guys will be good with this. All right, well, thank you and good luck on this one. And again, feel free to choose your own if you guys want. You guys are choosing either Vincent van Gogh's The Poet's Garden or Edward Monet's Impressionist Sunset. All right, take care.